Adetokunbo Pearse joins us. He's a political analyst. But before we come to him, let me just, because we're getting lots of response from doctors out there saying, how come Mr. Shelton say we don't have CT scans or MRIs, and some saying Lagos, but he actually said, if I remember properly, that during those days while they were protesting. And then we also said, look, yes, doctors have written, they say in Lagos you have it since 2008, it's been there, some say it's all over the country. We note those points. But moving on to what we're focusing on now in this segment, developments within the People's Democratic Party. Well, if you caught the opening sequence of the program where we looked at some of the headlines in the papers, we had one of the headlines in the Nigerian Tribune specifically, reading a particular headline, and then there's a comment from the chairman himself. So we'd like you to take a look at the headline and the chairman's comment, and we'll take it from there.
It's online that you have resigned and that you are just here just to present the resignation formally to caucus of youth.
If I resign, you would know. I am not somebody who can resign and you will not know.
So you have not resigned? You have not resigned, sir?
I have not resigned.
Thank you, sir.
Transform the life of his children. One of his daughters happens to be our very
This headline earlier this morning, but the chairman eventually saying what he said. Mr. Pearse, what's happening within this party?
Well, first and foremost, let me say that I think that the concern with the goings on in PDP is overblown.
How?
There's a difference between government and political parties. We should not concern ourselves so much with what is going on within the structure of a political party.
Why not? Well, that's where the leaders who we will elect will come from.
Yes,
we should turn a blind eye.
We should focus more on governance, what affects us as a people in the different areas of the economy. But anyway, what's going on?
Yes, I will have to take you a little further than that. I mean,
okay,
how isn't that how we got to where we are now? Because initially, when Nigerians turn a blind eye, say, well, it's an internal party affair, and then they come to governance, to government positions, and then they bring the same attitude, telling them, no, this first someone say, look, this is a party affair, and others, when they get into governance, it is the same kind of people who act the same way in their parties that eventually end up as candidates for us to choose from.
What is going on in the PDP is an exercise in democratic development. In the PDP, you are allowed to voice your opinion. Nobody is a god in the PDP. Nobody has all the answers. There are no sacred cows in the PDP. We challenge the chairman, national chairman, we challenge the president. That is an exercise in democracy. And this is the only democratic party you have in the country. And by the way, what do you make of a party like the APC that has had one national chairman throughout the life of the party?
Well, we're talking about the PDP now. So
well, no.
I don't.
Why would you talk about one party as if it's the only party in the country?
Mr. Pearse,
so what happens when the APC gets into power?
Mr. Pearse,
and you have one party.
You know why we still a moment here.
Yes.
You know why we still haven't been able to get around so many issues is because sometimes when we have an issue concerning A, we try to draw comparison with B. We're talking about the PDP. Until you started using the word we,
you're talking about political parties.
Yes, until you started using the word we,
yes.
I wouldn't have, for the life of me, seen you as a PDP member. Now I know you're a PDP member.
I am a PDP member.
Good. Let's talk about your party, specifically the PDP, but we're talking about developments in the PDP. When it's time for the APC, we'll take them on. So we've been seeing this back and forth. I have resigned, I haven't resigned, no one can make me resign. And tell us what you think. This is just trying to buy time for some people. They think that Bamanga Tukur will finally leave the PDP, and this is a move by the PDP to save it from what people would want to see as a collapse before the 2015 elections.
when something happens in this country, we tend to think as if it is the first time that is happening. And that is so strange. This is why it's good to compare. You can just talk about things in isolation. Let me give you some statistics. No PDP national chairman has stayed in office more than 2 years. So what is going on with Bamanga Tukoro, if eventually resigns, is not new. That's why I'm trying to tell you that in the PDP, because they allow for dialogue, they allow for disagreement, they allow for expression of individual opinion, you are going to have this type of back and forth.
Is it being arm-twisted?
Being arm-twisted. There have been problems in the party. A lot of people in the party have said, as they always do with national chairman, who is the national chairman of the largest political party in Africa.
Is it part of the problem?
It's part of the challenge. It's not a problem.
It's
ongoing.
Size is a challenge to you.
Definitely. So that's why the size and the policies, if you allow for democracy, if you allow people to express their opinion, you are going to have this kind of tussle.
But even though there is
politics is about challenges, people expressing democracy. What is the definition of democracy? Government of the people, for the people, by the people. That means the people get involved.
in that case,
They express their opinion.
should the president, should the governor or anyone elected into office be taken out of office after every 2 years?
No,
Since
no.
size is a problem, and we're in a democracy where people are allowed to air their views.
That is because when you express your views about the leader, there will be challenges that may eventually compel the leader to step aside. But look what's happened. In spite of, from Solomon La, the first national chairman, 2 years in office, everybody's been there no more than 2 years. Some people 1 year.
Mr. Pearse, doesn't this paint a picture of an unstable house?
This is why I told you there's a difference between the political party and the government. And if you don't want to believe that, then you'll be confused. Because how come, in spite of all these years where we have a chairman for 1 year, for 2 years, we always do, the PDP will win national elections? Because the process, what's going on now, is sanitization. You understand me? They will argue, they will disagree, and then they will agree to disagree and move forward. But in the meantime, everybody knows what's going on, and everybody is involved. Therefore, we will not have a crisis that will destroy the party.
Are we likely to see people come back for those that have left the party before the elections? Because if you say this is some kind of cleansing going on in the PDP, perhaps for those that have been calling for the removal of Bamanga Tukur, when he finally leaves, for the likes of the Adamawa state governor, he had his chief press secretary here yesterday, and we said, well, your principal has moved to the APC. So if Bamanga leaves, is it any likelihood that some of these people will return to the PDP?
Which people? The 5 governors that have defected?
The 5 governors, the lawmakers.
Well, the lawmakers are just appendages of their governors.
So
they have shown that they don't have an identity of their own.
So that means if,
well, let's talk about the governors.
If the governors come,
there's
a likelihood that
come back. Will they come back? I doubt it. I don't know. The question is, why did they leave in the first place? What was their gripe with Bamanga Tukur? That's the issue.